Hey everybody, welcome to True Confessions of a Car Guy. My name's John Gavin. I decided to do this because I've been in the car business a little over 40 years. And as I've been going through all those 40 years, I'm not proud of this fact, but I've worked at 49 different dealers. Over those 40 plus years, I have seen some of the craziest stuff happen. Good, bad, the ugly, you name it. I've worked with some real characters, and I thought it would be, and I know a lot of you car guys and gals have always said this, there should be a sitcom about the car business. There have been a couple close to it, but a real sitcom, because it's nothing like any other business, I believe, that exists. So I figured, what's the next best thing? Let's do a podcast. I'm going to do a lot of the truth of what happened in the car business. And this isn't about making deals and how we made money on something. This is about when it was really fun to be in the car business. I look at it and go, I got some real bad news. I'm going to go to my manager right now, but I think he's going to say $500 because your car's on fire out there. Just like that. This guy went apeshit crazy. But if I would have stayed longer, it would have killed me because all we did was party. It was just a nonstop party. The car business is a pretty, let's just say we're a playful crowd. We like to enjoy life. They all have toys. They all have nice watches. They all have nice houses, and they all like to go out. So, I don't know if I could use that one.
No,
but that was so funny.
No, that
one won't go. They threw keys on top of roofs. They took titles and burned them. They did all kinds of crazy stuff. We've created our own monster. We any problem that the car business has, we've created it. But we had a fun time getting there. And all you car guys and gals who are out there who got stories like mine, you want to send them in to me, I'd be more than happy to read them or have you on the show. Send it to confessionsofacarguy@gmail.com and we'll all laugh. that really happened.
Welcome everybody to True Confessions of a Car Guy. My name is Badgie, and this is episode number 10. And as always, we have a special guest with us in studio, Glen Connor with the McDavid Group, who will join us in just a moment. But before we introduce Glen, we got to introduce the host of the show, John Gavin. John, how's it going?
Hey, Badgie. How you doing, brother?
Been a long day, but now it's time for some fun.
Yeah, I heard you got a lot of rain out there today.
Yeah. You know, we're spread across here, but here in Chicagoland, it's a little rough. But we're gonna bring Glen to the stage. Glen, welcome again to True Confessions of a Car Guy. And from what I'm hearing, we're about to have a ton of laughs.
I hope so.
I hope so.
Thanks, Badgie.
You're welcome, man. Thank you, guys. I'll let you guys take it over from here.
So, hey, Glen. So, first of all, thanks for coming on the show. And for everybody listening, Glen is Jocko to me because I've known Glen 30 years plus, I think. Yeah, 30 years plus. I mean, we've been friends. Like, you know, when I started the show, the reason I started was I've been in so long, I made a lot of friends. You know, you don't really make a whole bunch of friends in the car business, but because I jumped around so much, I've made a lot of friends, and you being one of them, have been one of my good friends for over 30 years. Actually ended up becoming my neighbor. So we moved into the same town. So I think when I met you were you selling speakers at the time? Was that the speaker gig? Or?
No. Yeah, I was already done with that. I got in the car business.
Okay.
Up in DeKalb, where DeKalb Sycamore area was my first dealership.
Right. That's right.
Things weren't going so well at school. I was just turned 21, and Northern Illinois asked me politely not to come back. So I was kind of in a situation where, you live in these college landlords apartments. They don't care if you're at school or not. You sign that lease, they're not letting you out of it. So I was kind of stuck up there. And I was a bartender most of the time. That's why I was doing so well in school. And the one place I used to work during the days where they had lunch, and the owner, um, Mike Fasalo, used to come in there and sit at the bar and have lunch once in a while by himself, and we'd always talk. And I'm like, "Hey, yeah, I'm not going back to school." And he's like, "Oh, yeah, well, what are you doing?" I said, "Well, I got to stay up here." He goes, "Well, I'll teach you how to sell cars," and that's how it started. But then I worked for him for a little over a year, and now my lease is up, and by that point I think I was living in Naperville too. I was driving 30 minutes away from DeKalb, then coming back, and then I wanted to move kind of back home where I grew up, which is the southeast suburbs, and that's where I
Right,
met
right.
you in 1991 at River Oaks Toyota, my second
River Oaks
dealership.
Toyota. Yeah.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
River Oaks Toyota was probably one of the most fun places I ever worked. I think at 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock, we broke out the coolers. Coolers came out about 3 o'clock. Everybody started popping beers. I
yeah,
remember at River Oaks Toyota, I'm going to tell one story. So we sell a car to, they were gangbangers. We sold them.
yeah.
We sold them a car, sold them a Land Cruiser, and for whatever reason, we delivered the car. They left. Come back the next day, all pissed off about something that wasn't working. I was a finance guy back then,
Uh-huh.
so and back then, we sold about 250, 300 cars out of that
Yeah,
place. It was the Toyota warehouse. You remember
right.
the commercial had floors of cars. It looked
And then
like we
people
had.
get there and go, "Where are the cars all stacked on each
Yeah,
other?" So,
it
one
looked
level.
like we took them off of a
The only
shelf.
the only thing upstairs is the owner's penthouse
Yeah,
where he
yeah,
lives.
yeah. He lived above the
Oh yeah, at the
dealership.
time he did. Yeah,
Yeah, he lived above the dealership in it, like a
yeah,
3,000 square foot penthouse.
yeah.
Anyhow, we deliver this car, and I'm new. I was there in '89 for a year, and then I had my son, and it was 45 miles from my house, so I left.
Mhm.
'91, I come back, and I have my daughter. And I was like, oh, this time I'm not going to leave. So I stayed there. I didn't know everybody as well. I met you there. I met Ricky, who's a great friend of mine, Jose, Frankie. I mean, I can name, I still talk to the
Yeah,
owner, Tony. I still talk
yeah.
to him. Matter of fact, I'm going to go out and visit him in Naples one of these days. And so we deliver this Land Cruiser, and they come back all pissed off, and they do one of these. We throw them out. Now at the time, we had a GM. You remember him,
Bill
Billy,
Eubank. Yeah,
was
Bill.
crazy as shit, and Bill had been like done time.
Yeah,
You didn't mess with Bill. I mean,
no,
that place was great. Had a weight room downstairs, and everybody go down and work out and go back to work. And I mean, some bad hombres in there. So anyhow, I deliver this car. They come back. They're yelling at us about something, and the one guy makes a very bad mistake and lifts up his shirt and shows a gun. Well, okay, he shows a gun. Well, you remember that had like 9 offices here
hmm,
across the wall, then 2 on the back. One was finance and one was like another kind of office. Well, when
right.
that happened, now you got all South Side guys, Italian, Irish at the time, Hispanic. Everybody went in their office and got their gun. So now these 3 guys, one guy shows a gun like he's going to scare everybody into doing something. I don't even remember, because I was all the way in the corner just listening to the chaos. And I didn't realize at the time everybody had a gun in their desk. And they come out, and every one of them is holding a gun. They're not showing. They're all holding one. Like, all right, what's the next move here? Now this is '91.
Right,
This
right,
isn't like what happened at the Perillo, where they stole the watches and guns
right,
were like a
right, right,
normal thing. You could go get a concealed carry in Chicago. Like I had a concealed carry for a long time. It wasn't like that in '91, but that place was very tight knit. I mean, every weekend, you remember, we'd all get we had boats. Guys had boats.
right.
We'd all get together, and we'd leave at Saturday, 6
Yeah,
o'clock, and we go to Max and Cookie and
right.
stay at the bread and breakfast. But those guys, every one of them had a gun, and the guys that were going to return the car all of a sudden decided, well, I don't think we're going to return it. We're not getting anywhere with this one.
Yeah.
So you came with me to a couple places because you worked for me, I think, as a GSM, a finance director, sales manager. You've been with me a bunch of times, and I can remember the one place we were at. We were there very short time. I ended up working there 4 times, as a matter of fact, at the
Nissan store out in the western suburbs.
Yeah, the Nissan store. In the first time we were there, very short, because the owner got caught having sex with a guy in the parts department.
To be fair, I think it was an employee.
Yes, it was an employee. Yeah,
yeah, right.
It was an employee.
So it's probably consensual.
It was definitely consensual. You didn't do anything wrong, except everybody found out.
Right.
I was brand new there. I'm like, I love it here. And all of a sudden, the place went sideways. It gets sold. And I worked for the new owner 3 times. I love the guy. He's one of my favorite people. But that was one place you worked with me. You worked at the Oaks. Did you call me to Connor Dodge?
No, but Irving Park Road, the Lynch group, back when it was the Lynch group.
Yeah,
and
that's
Rockenbach. We can't forget Rockenbach.
Oh, yeah. Tom McGovern was matter of fact, I just reached out to Tom the other day because he's going to come on. He's
got his own consulting. He trains salespeople.
Yeah. Nicest guy on the planet. So a while ago, and now I'm glad you're on because you reminded me of this. I think I told the story about Billy when the guys were in the showroom, and my memory's not that great, but I remember a lot of it. Yeah. And the dad was smoking and the kid was smoking, and back then they had, they have them today too, but they made the towers way up high.
Yeah, right.
So you were like looking down on a customer.
Right.
Well, Billy, you tell the story because it was
my customer. I remember it. Yeah, and it was a father-son, and I remember it vividly because it was Martin Luther King Day, so it was like a weird Monday, and the showroom was packed because a lot of people had the day off work or whatever, and it was a father and son, like Indiana guys, because we were just we were 5 minutes from the Indiana border,
right,
and not to be racist by any means or anything, but they were the only white people in the showroom at the time.
I remember it. They were the only white guys in the whole showroom.
And everybody else is buying cars and and the place is hopping and buzzing. And these guys get mad. They're on a T100, which is like the basis of base, stick, no air, vinyl seats, pickup truck that you had $150 markup, and they were mad because we couldn't take $1,000 off, and they weren't leaving until they got it out. And we said, that's all we can do. Why don't you just leave? And the guy lights up a cigarette, and our GM Billy, he just was already so ready. He goes, "Get him out of here!" He just starts yelling from the tower, "Get him out of here!" And I'm like, "What?" Okay. So he flies off the tower, kind of grabs the guy by the scruff of his neck, like the father, the older guy had to be in his, late 40s, early 50s, and Bill was in late 50s, but like you said, you didn't mess with him.
Jacked.
He was not a normal human being.
Yes.
and he grabbed the guy and shoved him into the door without opening it, and he slammed him into the door. And the guy's like, and then the son sees this, so the son like cocks back like a boxer, like he's ready to,
square off with Billy,
with Bill, and Bill just jacked the son, and that was that. Then they ran outside. They both ran outside, and they were like, no cell phones then, so they must have gone somewhere, come back. They had called the police. So then the police are showing up. They're taking statements back and forth. By this time, Tony came down from his apartment, because this was like pretty early in the afternoon. He didn't usually come down till like 4 or 5 when things started really hopping, And so he came down. In my mind's eye, he was still in his robe. I don't know for sure because I'd seen that. He'd come down in the morning sometimes in his robe. How you doing, boys?
Get coffee. Go back up.
Right.
Hello,
exactly.
Boys.
So anyway,
Hello, boys.
He runs up. He runs up to the tower and gets on the phone. And the police are there in the showroom. They're taking what the customers saying happened, what witnesses and us we were saying happened. Then all of a sudden, Tony goes to the police officer, "Come here," just like that, and the police officer like looked at him like, and he's like, "Are you talking to me?" "Yeah, I'm talking to you, motherfucker. Come here." He goes, "What are you? Why are you talking to me like that? Your boss wants to talk to you," and puts him on the phone. And all of a sudden, the cop goes, "Okay, yeah, okay, all right, okay, boom, all right." He goes right over to the people, the kid that got hit and taking the complaint. He goes, "This is just pretty much a matter of he said, she said. You might as well just giddy up and go." And that was it. They got up and left. I mean, anytime Tony was very good to the Calumet City Police, man. Anytime they needed cars for wanting to survey people or surveillance or whatever, he'd give them whatever they wanted. Most of the police officers knew him, so they're surprised this guy came to this call, didn't know him to begin with, and so right in front of everybody called him a motherfucker.
Well, I learned that from Tony because later on I went to Gulf Mill to Niles. Me and Zarn would give the cops every undercover car that they had. So, I mean, for all you people driving around crazy and smoking weed and doing whatever you shouldn't, cops are driving dealer cars all over the place. So pay attention. But Billy was so mad at me. So I smoked back then. So I probably smoked 4 packs a day. Back then, you could smoke in a dealership.
Yeah, in the showroom and everywhere.
You walked into my office, you would have thought you were at a haunted house with the smoke machine. Because I'm smoking, the customers are smoking, usually husband and wife. Everybody's smoking. We're all talking because as a finance guy, you got a couple minutes to make a friend because you got to try to sell some products. Because everybody's going to be all over you. Is it what's your average per car? We got to make the deal, or we didn't make anything on the front. We need you to make something on the back to make all this worthwhile. So Billy comes up to me one day. He goes, smoking is the sign of an unintelligent person. I'm like, okay, great, whatever. I mean, back then, this is like 91.
If you didn't smoke, you smoked anyway if you worked in a dealer. Right. Like you said, everybody else was.
Everybody else was. But back then, I'm like as crazy as a bed bug too, but I'm new there to him. I don't really know him. I know where he came from. And I'm like stewing. And I'm like, should I say something? Should I say something? So finally, the smarter me, because I was younger, didn't. The next day, my car got keyed. It had to be him because he was all mad because I was smoking. He keyed my demo. So, and then Tony went to me and goes, don't worry about it. He knew it. He was like, I know he did it. There's no doubt about it.
God. Oh, yeah, he was somebody you didn't want to play with.
He was a piece of work. I don't know if he's still alive.
Oh, he can't be alive, Johnny. He can't. There's no.
I remember one time.
He had to be 100.
I remember one time he takes the parts truck, the pickup truck. And he says, I'll be back in a minute. And he leaves. And then he comes back like an hour later and he's got a whole patio set in the back. I'm like, man, he bought a nice set. Well, I go, look, there's a paper bag over the plate. He must have took it from the store. Oh, man. And just loaded it in his car. He was a piece of work. But I actually respected the guy. I liked him a lot. He was if you ever got in a jam there, he always had your back. There's no doubt about it. I mean, that was some crazy stuff that we went through. But
he was a lot of fun. But like you say, he wasn't a normal. He was. I mean, even by there's no way he would have.
You couldn't work today. No. Yeah, like today, you guys, your company, the McDavid Group. You guys, you deal with training. You deal with finance managers, you deal with reinsurance.
We help the service department file process claims, and we got to get involved with accounting and helping them, making sure that they remit all the products the right way, so the customer's covered. So we walk into a dealership and there's 3 main things we got to take care of before we even get started doing our job.
Right. So, think about when you were in finance 25 years ago. 20, because you were a finance guy 20 years ago at least. Something like that. Think about, we didn't do anything except do paperwork. There was no I mean, we're so litigious today in the world. There was no really legality we worried about. So today, you how many docs do these poor guys have to fill out? Because of
Well,
the
it's getting a
litigiousness
little
of the
better because a
country.
lot of it's not even wet ink anymore. Basically, all they have left is in Illinois. In most states, it's completely electronic. But I mean, you're still right. I mean, it's still 37 some signatures, but
Yeah,
in initials but um, as far as actual like something they got to put in front of them and sign, you got the red power of attorney, the odometer statement, um, the ST 556, and the L&T form that come out, and that's usually laser printed right behind them, and that's also hooked up to a company that handles license and titling. So they, if they're in-state customers, they get plates right then and there. So
right, right,
or
right.
transfer right then and there. So
Yeah,
yeah,
I really,
it's pretty streamlined, but yeah, you would think that you'd be able to get in and out of the office a lot quicker than you used to, but it just it seems to take the same amount of time.
well, I can remember like in 2003 and
Uh,
2004, even when I worked for a Highline downtown, I would try to get people in and out in like 5-10 minutes, but
right,
still try to sell products.
right.
Today, I mean, no matter who I talk to, it's like an hour
Yeah.
minimum. They're loading the deal because even though you got all the
Systems that talk to each other,
technology,
push the customer's information back and
yeah,
forth.
it's still a
It's
lot of docs, and they got to
yeah,
double check them,
yeah,
triple check them, because
right,
one wrong thing, everybody's got to come back. We don't really
right.
worry about that back in the
No,
day.
no,
We never even thought twice about it. I
no,
mean, I
no.
can remember when we switched from a blue Ileana contract to a gray. I can
Right,
remember
right,
because that was a simple interest was the
right.
gray, and the blue was a rule of 78. So you were
Like a
paying
mortgage,
interest
right,
for
right,
you were paying interest for
yeah,
4 years, and then you got to your car
yeah,
almost.
right. No
So
wonder.
yeah, exactly. No wonder people were so upside down when they were
Right,
bringing in a
exactly.
car. But
Right,
they changed that, which was a good thing. Again, any problem that there is in the car business normally we cause ourselves.
right,
So
exactly.
now that was just banking, though. That had nothing to do with
Yeah,
the car dealer, but of course we
right,
took the hit probably.
right.
And but so many things. I mean, I can remember, boy, working for Cronin Lincoln Mercury, and who's a mentor to me was
I
Dan.
just saw Dan Kern yesterday, by the way.
Yeah, so
Yeah,
Dan Kern
he's
was
one
a
of my
mentor to
accounts now.
me.
Yeah, yeah,
Dan is the best car guy I ever met. Really,
yeah.
a lot of people will tell me other things, but to me, Dan was my mentor. He taught me
Right.
the car business, and I can remember working for him as a salesman. I know I did 20, 30 cars out of the box working for him. Right when
Uh-huh.
I started, first month, that's where I did the interview and got the pen. Had to do a Popeel pocket pen with the
Right.
owner, Ron Cronin, at the time. And Danny only had about maybe, I don't know, 8 documents to fill out. And I can remember them taking the carbon paper, putting that
Uh-huh.
in there to make
Right.
sure that he gave the customer a copy. That was their copy. It was carbon paper
Right.
in the printer, which it's not there anymore. But up until 5 years ago, the
Yeah.
printer was 36 inches,
The
and there was
dot
only
matrix.
one.
Yeah.
Yeah, the
Right.
dot
Exactly.
matrix,
Yeah.
because they couldn't fit the thickness of a
The
contract.
triplicates. Right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, it's
Yeah.
crazy. Technology
Yeah.
moves so fast, but the car
Yeah.
business is still behind because of all this
Right.
contract.
Exactly. Us in hospitals were the last one using all the paper. Now,
Yeah.
I don't know what
So
paper companies are selling to now anymore.
even though I work part-time in the car business, I don't really do anything in the finance office except help them find vehicles that when they have a customer who's got negative equity, try to find one with the
Right.
tools that we have. But do they print these docs in like triplicate and quadruplicate electronically when they
Yeah,
do
a
this
lot of
today?
times, most of the places are here. They hand them a little zip drive with all their docs on it, or
Yeah, that's what I got.
they email them in a file.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's the last 2
yeah,
cars I bought last year. This year were both. One was a zip drive and
yeah,
one was an email. The last one was an email that sent it to me, but because I thought that was only because I was doing it out of state. I didn't
yeah.
realize
That
they
could
do
be. Yeah.
that. They do
Right.
that in person too. Then I
Oh
guess.
yeah, and,
Yeah,
and usually the only thing the customer has to walk out of there with is a copy of the stuff that the odometer statement.
yeah,
They might print them a bill of sale in real life, but if they buy any products, those contracts, you want them to have them so they know how to use
yeah,
them if they need them. So,
yeah.
your VSCs, your tire and wheel, that. So, when you first got in the finance office, how many products did you have to even offer customers?
Oh boy.
Beside gap insurance and a vehicle service contract.
We
What
had,
else?
well, credit life and disability
Oh
insurance
yeah.
were big back then.
Nobody underwrites that
No,
anymore.
yeah, we had credit life and disability insurance.
Yeah.
We didn't have tire and wheel. We had gap
Yeah.
insurance,
Uh-huh.
and we had extended warranty, of course.
Right. Right.
And pretty much that was about it. That was about the extent. Gap, credit life, disability, extended warranty, and I think the more innovative guys might have been selling like a
appearance protection,
appearance package. Yeah, that's about it.
Yeah,
but yeah, we didn't have many things. And then all of a sudden, I've talked about it on the show. I don't know when it happened, the year exactly. I can't remember the whole case, but I remember a husband and wife bought a car, and they didn't offer him credit life insurance.
Right.
And the husband passed away like the next day. And, attorneys, their job is to go get money and win cases. Well, the lady, somebody in the family said they must have known about the credit life insurance. So did they at least offer it to you? Yeah. Well, back then, I didn't like to sell it. I mean, I would always think of myself as, what do I want life insurance and disability insurance from a car dealer? I'd rather get it from my agent. I got an agent for my house, for my car. Anyhow, they didn't offer it. So she sued the car dealer, and the car dealer lost. So they had to pay off her car. So ever since then, the contract had on every Ileana had,
it's still on there.
Yeah, you either want it or you don't want it. Right. And that, I don't know if you happen to see one of my shows with Jimmy Duvas about the FTC and how they're going after him about things that they're saying. But we have so many stipulations that we have to do now and so many forms assigned that it's kind of hard for a customer not to know they have something. It's very difficult. I mean,
yeah, exactly. There's no sneaking it in, shoving it in. You gotta sell it. You gotta.
Yeah. No, it's true. I mean, what's the biggest change for you from the car business to working for McDavid for you?
That's a good question. I mean, I feel like, my quality of life, just because I'm not in the grind. I'm not in the not in the retail hours. I feel like I get into a different dealership every day. I get to contribute and help out, but I'm not there until they lock the doors. Like if you're a finance manager in most dealerships, you have a key. Because you're either, you're both opening and closing, because you got to get there before everybody else gets there to clean up all your paperwork and make sure everything's funded, to do all your busy work that doesn't put money in your pocket, but you have to do. And then you got to be ready to actually do your job and earn when you got a customer in front of you. So yeah, but yeah, that's the biggest thing is the more 9-to-5 type schedule. Not that I work 9 to 5, but weekend, 2 days in a row off. Saturdays off was the weirdest thing for me when I first started.
Yeah, I was just going to say.
I felt like I was doing something wrong.
I was just going to say the same thing. When I went from the car business to working for Cox as a performance manager, and now that part about you working 9 to 5 is not true at a dealer, because they call you all hours. They call you 9 o'clock. So you're working longer. But I can remember Saturdays for about the first 2 months. I felt like a caged tiger. I thought I was cheating. I didn't know why I was home.
I should be somewhere, but I'm not sure where.
Yeah, my wife even used to say, "Well, you quit pacing. What do you?" I mean, I felt weird because, in the car business, you miss a Saturday, go get your box set of parts, you're pretty much out.
Right.
Or just having Saturday off at any time is a big deal, because that's our day we sell most of the cars. Or at least try to.
No one's off on Saturdays.
Yeah, so for me, same thing. Quality of life. Now, I think that's changing a little bit in the auto industry. I notice a lot of stores, when I was with Perillo, I thought that was, Mr. P was ahead of his time in the fact that he had everybody work 10 to 8. Mm-hmm. So we worked 10 to 8, and we were there for an 8-10 hour day, 2 or 3 days a week, but it's a lot better than a 9 to 9. Right. It doesn't seem like much, but that hour in the morning and that hour at night, and now I see a lot of dealerships finally catching up, and they're closing at 7 and 8. Yeah. When I was with Cox, I noticed, and you probably see it because you have more accounts than just Illinois. Do you have other states?
Well, my company does. Basically, the accounts I help out in are here in the Chicagoland area and Central Illinois. So,
Yeah.
but
So,
they'll call me on occasion where I'll have to go to Alabama and help out with some other dealer groups when they need someone. But
well, like
that's the
Michigan, they don't work the hours we worked. I mean, they work a
uh-huh.
lot. Don't get me wrong, but they close at 6 some days
Hmm.
or 8. And I noticed in Wisconsin they've got 10 to 7 hours, 9 to 6
Right.
hours. Southern Illinois they got 9 to 6, 9 to 7. So
Right.
I see that changing even in Chicagoland
Yeah,
because for
it
a
seemed to be
while,
like that kind of shifted during COVID, I think, because then it was like appointment only. The dealers, for the first time ever in our lifetime, and probably in anybody else's going forward too, had the upper hand with
yeah,
supply and demand. That very
yeah,
rarely worked in the dealer's favor on specific units, much less everything, which is what
right.
happened
I
for
think
those
they figured it out.
big 3 years. Yeah, right. And they
Yeah,
kind of realized
they
people will
kind
make
of
the time
figured
to
it
get here
out.
when we're open. Because the
Yeah.
problem with the 9 o'clock is then you got people walking in at 20 minutes to 9, and that just starts the process. And then
Well, think
sometimes it takes 3 hours to sell a car,
think about
so
our pitch as we're
yeah.
hiring new people 5 years ago. The
Uh-huh.
pitch was real simple. Okay, we don't give you a salary. We're going to give
Yeah.
you a draw. And by the way, we're going to take that back.
Mhm.
And then the hours, well, they're on the door because if
Right.
you sell a car and you're not here for your delivery, you're splitting that with
Split.
somebody.
Yep.
So you
Little
better be
chop.
there.
Yeah.
And then holidays, don't worry about it because
Yeah, right, right.
you'll be with us. You're not
Right.
going to, you don't have to go
Exactly.
anywhere.
Yeah.
You don't have to go
Yeah.
see them. You'll be with us. So
Right.
those hours and that kind of pitch was really tough to
Yeah.
try to get quality people. I think the car industry is changing to where we're
Right.
figuring out that we're getting a better quality of person. We're not doing now. You're forced to do hours in. I was just telling my wife the other day. We were at a store at 8 o'clock, by the way, and it wasn't a car dealer. We're at a store, grocery store,
Hmm.
and they were closing, and they just told everybody over the microphone, "You have to leave. You got 15 minutes." It was
Yeah.
7:45. So you
Right.
got 15 minutes. When the car business, a lot of customers don't really care about the time, the
No.
hours that we're open. They'll come in 10 minutes till we open. So
Right.
even though we offer closing at 8, even we close at 9, we're there
You
all the
don't
time.
leave
9
at
to
9, right?
10 to, yeah, Saturdays. I can remember Chamber Toyota. I can't tell you how many Saturdays we didn't get out until 10:30. I
Oh,
mean, it was,
Rockenbach was worse than that. We closed at 6 at Rockenbach on Saturdays, but it all kind of depended on how the beginning of the day went. We had those,
yeah.
literally handwritten sheets, and each sheet had 25 lines on it. And we knew if by noon we didn't have 25, that those were cars sold. If we didn't have 25 out by noon, it was going to be a late day.
Did
And
you
people were
work for
walking
me at
around.
Rockenbach in the subprime? Were you the finance guy there?
No. I was at the no. You. That's just before you went to Perillo. You were already
Okay.
doing that, and then
Yeah.
they moved me down there because I was at the main store as just like
Okay.
a floor manager, and then I got
Yeah.
finance.
Yeah. We were doing
Then I did go. I
1,000
did go
cars.
down there. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Yeah. That
Between
was a.
both of those stores was a
Yeah.
big deal.
That was an
Tom had
operation at the
that place
time.
humming. That was
Yeah.
that place
It
was
was. It was
humming.
a lot
But
of fun
yeah.
too. There was a lot
Yeah,
of
it was.
craziness
Yeah,
going
well,
on there.
I gotta say though, I got
Yeah.
more speeding tickets there in the
Yeah.
year that I was there
Uh-huh.
than in the rest of my life in the car business because I'd go from Park Ridge to Grays Lake.
Right.
And you get done, like you said, it'll be done 10:30, 11. I'm trying to get home before midnight,
Right.
So I'm doing 90. There's a woo. All right, pulling
Yeah.
over. Now going to Grays Lake, there's that one strip going there where they wait for you. Well, I
Yeah.
didn't know that the first 2 months, so I got 2 tickets in a row. I
Uh-huh.
think Tom helped me get out of them and tell me who to go talk to because I work.
Right.
We worked there, pay a lot of tax, whatever it was. But
Yeah.
I got more tickets in that 1 year than I've ever got in my life because it was just so far for me to get back and forth. But anyhow,
Yeah.
so well, listen, hey, thank you for coming on.
Oh, no problem.
We really appreciate it. I mean, it was good catching up with you.
That was awesome,
And,
man. It was it went
yeah,
by fast.
Yeah, it went by fast. And
We're not gonna remember the one thing when you brought up that Nissan store out in the west suburbs. Not beside the indiscretions of the owner. Remember that they had like a GSM there who would like he
Oh.
was big. He was so goofy.
Let me tell
his name
the
was-
story with
go
him.
ahead.
I don't want to interrupt. You tell me. I know what you're talking about. So
Yeah.
we're in the meeting. We're having the meeting, or we're just in the one office.
Like
And
8:30 on a Saturday morning.
8:30 Saturday morning, and we have the meeting, and at that point, everybody's going, who's going for coffee? Who's going to get whatever?
Yeah.
And I walk into, they got a desking office right next to the sales office. I walk in, and he goes, hey, and he's not standing, by the way, because we talked about this. He's sitting at his desk, and he goes, hey, listen, you got a cover for me. I'm like, we just fucking got here. He goes, I shit my pants. I got to go.
This is the guy running the sales floor.
Yeah, I shit my pants. I gotta go. It's 8:31.
He's running the sales floor. He have a little
He was like my boss. He was my boss at the time.
Yeah, that's right. He was a GSM. You were in finance, right?
Yeah. I'm
Holy
like,
cow.
you gotta be shit.
Yeah.
That was hilarious there. Oh my gosh.
I
Anyhow.
don't know of any other jobs where you would go to anybody else in your organization and let them know you had to take a little break to get home.
Yeah, because I shit
because
myself.
of that. Yeah, I think you would come up with a different reason, but in the car business, it's fine.
So fucking funny.
Valid excuse. Valid reason.
Yeah. So before we go, hey Huck, thank you for the fine fishing.
Oh, nice.
Where you have, and anybody who watches this, like, comment, subscribe, share. We're starting to get a little bit more on which one, Badgie? What are we? TikTok, yeah. Starting to get a little more involved with TikTok, and we're starting to meet a bunch of other people. But the show's fun to do, and again, it's just to talk about this stuff. So thanks for coming on, Glenn.
All right, thanks guys.
And we want to, again, thank you, everybody, for joining us. You can find us online at trueconfessionsofacarguy.com, our website, and all social media platforms, Twitter. And for you car guys and gals out there, we have a professional LinkedIn page as well. It's starting to get momentum, too. You can join in there and connect with other car guys and cargos. Maybe there's a little business connection, too.
I want to bring that up. So today, I actually finally got my LinkedIn. I've been fighting with LinkedIn back and forth for 3 years. When I left Cox, I retired. My cell phone and my email was hooked up to LinkedIn, but I retired. They shut you off when you're retired. You don't have access. So I sent a copy of my driver's license, had a phone call, all this shit with LinkedIn. They won't give me back my account. So they said, well, open up another account. So I open one up, and they send me back. Long story short is I have a third LinkedIn that just opened up today. It's really
as if there's not enough John Gavins to begin with. Now you are three of them.
It's really me, and I still would rather you went to the True Confessions of a Car Guy, but the new one is really me, and I think I already have like 40 people who already clicked back because as much as when it comes to the car business, I'm a technology maven. When it comes to life itself and technology, I have no idea what I'm doing because I don't do social media. So I think I clicked a whole bunch of buttons, but I was trying to just I had over like 1,700 people on my first LinkedIn. So I was trying to get that back, and then I thought about it, I go, what the fuck am I doing this for? But at the same time, I do like talking to all the people that I know in the car business, and that's one way to message them. So it is really me. So thanks again.
Yes,
right,
thanks.
Guys.
Thanks again for tuning in to this episode. And like I said, follow us online on social media. We got some great guests coming up here soon. So stay tuned. We're going to make the announcement shortly on who they are. And thanks again for watching, and thanks again for all of your support. And we'll see you next time.